Hi, Tracy here, founder and counsellor with Arana Health Services. Today I want to bring your attention to October, and October is World Mental Health Day on Tuesday the 10th of October, and it's World Mental Health Week from the 8th to the 14th. So that's a time for us to reflect, to look after each other and think about our own mental health and well-being. But today I want to introduce you to someone who's been through her own mental health journey, and through that process has written her memoirs and written a book that's helped with her mental health recovery. So I'd like to introduce you to the author. This is Cher. Before Cher tells you a little bit about herself and her story, I just want to bring your attention to what Cher's been able to do in her writing, which is write a novel which is called Ken's Quest. This book will be available at the end of this film with some links for you to purchase and an article about Cher's story. The other book that Cher has written is The House of 99 Closed Doors, which is Cher's memoir. So if you find the information we share today is useful and you think that's something of interest, we'll have the links for you to follow. But I'd like to introduce you to Cher, and if you're happy to tell the audience a bit about your story and your mental health journey and our time working together.
Oh, thank you, Tracy. I'd like to, first of all, thank Tracy for her help with my journey towards recovery, towards away from my anger. I came to Tracy about a year or a bit ago because I had some issues with my anger management, and I found Tracy a great help. She has taught me many techniques and strategies and improved my relationships overall.
Good.
Thank you, Tracy.
All right, so tell us a little bit more about yourself.
I'll tell you a bit about my family. I come from a very big family, the youngest of 19 children, 12 girls and 7 boys. Father was born at the end of the Qing dynasty in Shantou, a fishing village. Father and his 2 wives and concubine, 4 sons and 8 daughters, migrated to Singapore during the Japanese occupation. I was born in a household over 30 people in a house built on stilts, in the house of the 99 closed doors. That's the title of my memoir. Father relocated shortly after with my mother, her 2 sons and 6 daughters to a simpler dwelling. My childhood was chaotic, with the comings and goings of relatives, the stepbrothers and their families who also relocated to the same neighborhood. I saw the tragedy of my extended family unfolded before me. First stepbrother was forced into marrying a woman he did not love, and his wife became schizophrenic. His family fell apart consequently. Aunt Swat, the matriarch, lost all power in her later years and died regretting ill-treating my mother. Father's concubine and her children moved away, and you're quite estranged with the rest of the family. My mother, she favored her sons over her daughters and regarded her last 4 daughters as redundant. We grew up feeling rejected. Our home became the hub of conflicts. As the saga continued, I became insomniac and remained so for many years. I was the only child educated in a missionary school run by Irish nuns. I rebelled against the family strict Confucian code and converted to Catholicism. But my parents were displeased, but they could not do anything about it. In 1974, I hatched an escape route from the chaos that ended up in a high school in Australia. I performed well enough to get into Monash Uni, and around the same time I got married to a white Australian. I was relatively free from any xenophobic attacks when I was at uni. It was not until when I started my first job, when I was stung by racist remarks. In 78 was the tail end of the Vietnamese refugee program. Most refugees were coming via migration program, but there were still a few boats arriving. One morning, while poring over my work at the office, I heard my colleague say, "Those boat people, drown them all." I could not say she was racist. No, not according to the official definition of racism. Because she was not speaking to me, and I'm not Vietnamese. But I knew she was pushing my button. Now, there's a new term for it now. It's called micro-assault. Conscious and intentional actions or slurs, such as using racial epithets, displaying swastikas, or deliberately serving a white person before a person of color in the restaurant. I was distressed, but I hung on. I hung on because quitting means defeat and failure, and that would be total losing your face for the Chinese. I started drinking alcohol to calm my nerves. The phase of day at the office. It was only a year, but it was detrimental to my mental health. Being unable to verbalize about micro assaults and micro insults, as a term did not exist then, my bottled up anger manifested itself as chronic insomnia. I've observed the likes of Pauline Hanson and the One Nation Party lashing out at migrants, pointing fingers of blame, but also the reluctance of people to speak up honestly, openly and civilly about their feelings, about the differences in cultures. Keeping silent creates undercurrents, discontent, mistrust, and anxiety. Now, I'll tell you a little bit of the reason why I wanted to write the book. On the home front, the trust and open communication was not happening. My lips were sealed for 33 years. Nobody knew about my dysfunctional extended family until I published my memoir, The House of the 99 Closed Doors. My reining in my feelings kept my anxiety level very high. And when I was out in the open, when the memoir was published, I expected exchanges from my spouse's family, since I got on really quite well with them. But it was like throwing a stone into a pond and witnessing no ripples. The silence was deafening. I was incensed, and at the same time aware of the build-up of undercurrents. The silent treatment climaxed in one incident. I've occasionally helped out looking after my mother-in-law when her carer daughter went on holiday. On this day, I was told not to come anymore. And when I questioned my sister-in-law, all she said was, "It's just easier." How is it easier? But she would not reply. I was devastated. And that was why I decided to write King's Quest. I felt the urgency to show the damage when there was a lack of honest, open communication, but also the healing when it happened. So, let me tell you a bit about King's Quest. King Aka Weida was a Shanghainese engineer who came on a year working holiday visa. He did not fit in, especially with his assistant Red, who was xenophobic. Through King, the novel explores migrants' emotional and mental baggage. In the earlier part of the King-Red interactions, it highlights the micro-assaults and micro-insults that Red imposed on King's mental health. He began to think that Aussies were out to get him. I also reveals Red's fear of displacement by migrants. The journalists, the radio broadcasters, and the historian like Jeffrey Blaney whipping up hysteria about foreigners taking Aussie jobs, displacing Aussies from their low socio-economic background from the government subsidized accommodation. We saw how Red's fear and negative attitude affected his slow maturing into manhood. His alcoholic drinking habits, his drug taking was symptom of shirking responsibility. His verbal abuse towards migrants was a symptom of mental imbalance. The turning point when came when King saved dog Fu Manchu. They became friends. Through honest and open communication, King's harsh judgment of Australian societal and familiar values shifted. He stopped judging Red as a lazy Australian and began to accept his lack of motivation had something to do with his fragmented, with his abused childhood. Red also warmed up to King's care for him, and in turn slowly retreated from his xenophobic stance. I've also broken new grounds in migrant literature in discussing issues of gender, in the man-woman relationship, in the parent-child relations from my perspectives of old and new worlds. And that these were the words by the reviewer William Wordsworth from South China Morning Post. So to purchase a King's Quest, go to the link.
Yep, we'll have the links below. But Cher, just a quick question before we finish up. So writing both, Ken's Quest and your memoirs, in writing both books, what was the journey like for you personally? Was it therapeutic? Did it evoke strong emotions? How was it on your own mental health and well-being, actually writing and putting pen to paper and putting all those emotions down?
In writing the memoir, it was very painful. It took me 10 years.
10 years?
10 years.
Wow.
I was in tears. It was tears and blood. It was. No, it's not only the language. I mean, I'm from a science background, so I struggle a bit. But it's primarily the emotion of confronting those experiences, those abuse, those conflicts. It was just so painful to put it down on paper. And the thing is, I was expecting closure. Silly me. Closures don't come that easy.
So is that still a work in progress?
Yes.
How you make sense of? Has it gotten easier in time since writing to where you are with it now?
It's easier after counselling with Tracy.
As easy as it's going to be.
And I have reconciled with my sister after 30 years of estrangement. One sister.
Fantastic.
The brothers are to come.
Yeah.
It's difficult. This is a difficult one. You have to read The House on 99.
Absolutely. I think if you want to find out more, I would go and have a look at these memoir and Ken's Quest. Is there anything else you want to say?
King's Quest.
Yeah.
I think it is crucial for people to read because I'm not defending the migrants. My voice is balanced. I'm looking at it from my own new worlds. I'm looking at possibilities of their journey, their healing through open communication. To do that, you need courage.
Yes.
And where do you have the courage? You have to reflect. You have to listen to your tribal boys and say, hey, is that true? Is it what they say about the Chinese is true or the Muslims are true? Is it true? You have to question, reflect, and grow. And grow spiritually, emotionally, mentally.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, I thank you for your time. We'll post the links down the bottom of this video if you're interested in purchasing the book or both books. But also we'll have some more information about November is novel month, and we're going to have a book launch for Cher's books in Brunswick and Melbourne. So if you're interested, we'll have that information coming out shortly. So follow the links. You can find where to purchase the books, but also if you're interested in Cher's article about what she's talked about today with a little bit more detail, that'll also be available. All right, hope that helps. Take care of yourselves for Mental Health Week and look out for the next video. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.